Guys, welcome back to another video. It is me, the Mysterious Cameraman, and today I'm going to be talking about Spider-Man Power and Responsibility. So recently, this fan film has officially reached 1 year since its initial release, but I never really got around to talking about it. It was a pretty old fan film when the time I started doing fan film reviews. However, now with the release of the official trailer for Back to Basics, I decided to watch it and do a review. So, what are my thoughts on Spider-Man Power and Responsibility? Before you get to know that answer, I'm quickly going to talk about my other fan films. My first big fan film, Spider-Man: The Kingpin of Time. The teaser trailer is now up on the channel. That will be at the end of this video and in the description. Now, on to my thoughts on Spider-Man Power and Responsibility. So, instead of kind of discussing, I'm going to first discuss the whole film. I really like Peter as, I can't really say too much without going into the categories, really, but what I'll say is the basic plot is Peter deals with the loss of Uncle Ben while having to deal with the Sinister Six. That's basically the main plot. So let's just go into the 6 categories because I find that easier to begin with. In my opinion, it's directed pretty okay. There aren't any wow shots. It's a pretty decent shot fan film. Editing is pretty good. Most Spider-Man fan films have okay editing, nothing usually amazing. We don't ever really get good swinging scenes. However, this fan film has some really good swinging scenes, which is something you have to appreciate when watching it. Also, Nova looks pretty good. It's cool to see some good heroes. Moving on to our next thing is going to be the acting. I really like a lot of the acting in this. I think Peter is really good. I think Gwen is really good. I really like Doc Ock. I like Mysterio. I like Max, whatever you want to call him. Craven's really good. Flash is really good. Harry Osborn's pretty good. Norman Osborn's really good. I think the acting in this is the best part. There's a lot of good acting. Story is the other part where I'd say this film really thrives. The story in this is really good. I really like seeing the Sinister Six on screen working together and eventually falling apart. I really like how they're all together one by one fighting Spider-Man, and then they come together to fight him, and then they realize he's just a kid. And they're like, wait, I don't want to kill a kid. And half of them are Sandman and Shocker are I have a kid. I can't kill a kid. And then Mysterio and Craven are he has to die, and Doc Ock's clamped in the middle, and Electro's gone. So it's a really fun part of it, because it's half of them are not that bad, and the other half are cold-hearted. So having the Sinister Six fight wasn't the best decision, however, it's really fun to see. Moving on to the choreography, I'd say the choreography in this is pretty good. If I had to say something's the worst, I might... no, choreography's pretty good, I'll admit. And finally, going on to the music in this is also really good. There's a lot of good music design. So moving on to what are my thoughts on this and how it can impact Back to Basics. If you didn't know, Back to Basics is a sequel. So the first thing I just want to say how it impacts Back to Basics is this is a very big first film. It's a Sinister Six movie with Craven, Shocker, Electro, Doc Ock, Sandman, and Mysterio. So, and having Green Goblin be the next villain and only having one villain, it might feel a bit underwhelming. However, I hope it's done really well. Some of my favorite sequences in this film are definitely the Mysterio sequence. I always love Mysterio sequences. It's one of my favorites in the film. I also really like a lot of those just sit-down scenes where Peter just pours out his heart. But I also like the final scene between Max and Peter. I think every scene with Max and Peter is done really well, because I think Max and Peter have some really good on-screen chemistry. I also like all the Sinister Six scenes. I feel like those scenes are really good, because Doc Ock is also one of the best acting performances in the film. And he's really fun. He's a fun villain, and you want to in a way, you kind of want to root for him, because he's just such a fun villain to watch on screen. And that also elevates a lot of the other Sinister Six. Sandman and Shocker don't have too much of a personality, but Doc Ock makes their character better because he's just such a good character. However, I do wish we learned a bit more about Mysterio. I feel like he was a bit lackluster, not too much about him. I feel like with Shocker and Sandman, it's okay not to go too far into depth about them, But I think with Mysterio, you kind of have to go in depth. But besides that, I really like Peter's whole story with having to let go of Uncle Ben and making the mistakes and having to finally move on from that whole thing. And it's a really good plot. So, to wrap up this review, this is the second feature film-length fan film I've seen, the first being Nightwing Rebirth. So now that I've seen two, now I can kind of start to get an idea of what a feature-length fan film is. And what I'd say is the biggest thing is that they really draw out stories. However, I would say that Nightwing Rebirth does do it a tad bit better, but it also, and I think it's just done so much better in most ways. But going on to what I think is done so well in Spider-Man Power and Responsibility, I really like the villains. I really like Peter. I like so many parts of it that I feel like it makes it a really fun feature film. I never really lost interest. It was always, there's a bit of a part in the middle that I kind of was like, I lost a bit of interest. But then once it got to like the final act, it really picked up again. I'd say the lowest point was definitely the second act, but it definitely got up from there. But besides that, I really like Power and Responsibility. I'm really excited for Back to Basics. The trailer for it looked really good. I'm really excited to see Green Goblin as a villain because I like Sinister Six, but I want to see a really fleshed out villain. And also, I want Gwen to die. There's no way Gwen isn't dying. Like, I would be so shocked if Gwen does not die in this sequel film. It's Gwen Stacy, and Green Goblin. I'm sorry, Gwen is dying. But I want Gwen to die. I hope Gwen dies. But besides that, and also I should just say, I don't hate Gwen. I just really want to see Gwen's death done well on screen. It was done awfully in Amazing Spider-Man 2. I don't hate the character in this trilogy. I don't hate the character in general. I don't know why I said trilogy. I just want to see the death done well. I don't hate the actress of Gwen. I actually really like Gwen in most adaptations. So besides that, thank you so much for watching this video. If you haven't already seen my teaser for Spider-Man The Kingpin of Time, go down in the end of the video or in the description. Besides that, thank you so much for watching this video. See you guys in the next one. Bye, guys.